We're going to look at the trends from the first 2 weeks of the season, and we're going to talk about 10 players who are shooting up the rankings right now. But before we do, you need to click that subscribe button right now. Give it a click with the mouse, tap with the finger on your phone. Stop missing out on these deep dives. Stop missing out on these player lists where we look at the advanced metrics and try to identify trends to take advantage of some of these players who are sneaking under the radar. This helps you with waivers, trades, setting lineups, and everything else. You're getting multiple videos on the daily to help you win your league. Let's dig into these 10 players today because we got some interesting advanced metrics to look at. And Nico Collins is again on the list here. The Texans are running 80 plays a game right now. They are a fast-paced offense because they're in weird game scripts where they have to pass a lot. They're behind. They got to sling it in the air. Nico Collins is a deep threat. Last year, he had over a 20% target share. Last year, he had a huge share of the air yards, and that continued. We talked about that during the offseason. C.J. Stroud throwing more accurate deep balls downfield. Nico Collins is being a benefactor of that. He has 270 air yards, 5th among all wide receivers or all pass catchers or everybody in the NFL right now. Nico Collins is getting targeted deep downfield, 23% target share. He's ran 79 routes and a 72.5 route participation rate. He's got top numbers right now when it comes to workload. That is good. That's what you want out of your wide receivers. If you drafted him, you made a good pick because he's a cheap get in double-digit rounds. The upside's there. Look for him to be sporadic a little bit, considering his offense could be sporadic, but still. Deep targets downfield, a good target share. Next is Elijah Moore, and I want to talk about him, so I'm bringing him up. And we've been talking about Elijah Moore a lot this offseason. We looked at the clips from training camp and minicamp. We looked at the numbers all offseason long. Right now, he's seeing 8 targets a game, a 23% target share, has 92 air yards a game, so he's getting a lot of volume and targets downfield, 69 routes, 82.1% route participation rate, and he's running about half his snaps in the slot right now, so he's being moved around a good bit, which we said in the offseason because we saw it in minicamp, we saw it in training camp, and it's coming to fruition a little bit. The thing about this offense, though, we lost Nick Chubb, and my main take from that is that they're going to increase the passing game a little bit. They're going to have a little bit more volume there. That should help Elijah Moore give you a little bit more fantasy production. Everybody's looking at the running backs. What I'm saying here is I think they're going to throw a little bit more because they paid up for Deshaun Watson. They made some deals getting some wide receivers in. They got Elijah Moore. They got Amari Cooper. They have some investments there. They did not bring in any running backs during the offseason. That lets us know they like Ford, but it also lets us know, like, hey, our plan B is we're going to throw the football if something happens to Chubb. Let's see if that comes to fruition. That's a high probability because you do have an investment in Watson. You do have some pass catchers here. You're pretty deep with young talent, too. You got Tillman there. You got David Bell. Those are top-end third-round picks. Those are good wide receivers to have on the back end of your depth chart. This could be an interesting offense going forward. But look for Elijah Moore to get some volume throughout the year. 8 targets a game. Pretty solid. But we're only in 2 games. Small sample, but still, you want to run with it a little bit. Next, Mac Jones. So I've talked about this Patriots offense as a slower volume team. However, things changed with the game scripts here. Philadelphia, that game script was fire, and you know the Dolphins are going to push the pace. But 765 attempted air yards on the season so far. He's slinging it deep downfield. One of the tops in the league at attempted air yards. 74.2% of his passes are catchable. That's a good thing to see considering the volume with a 48 pass attempts per game. Love the volume. Love the plays ran here out of the Patriots offense. We're seeing 76 plays a game. We have some slower game scripts coming up with the Jets and Cowboys, but still they're willing to push the pace if they need to. That is something good to see with his offense. That is something we want to see with our quarterback. And that's not just for Mac Jones. That is also for the pass catchers who are part of this offense. They're slinging the rock a little bit. Again, those first 2 game scripts were fire for this. Let's see what we're going to get going forward. 76 plays a game, pretty good there. And we'll probably see more of this throughout the season as we're going to have more fire game scripts off and on throughout the year. Next, Josh Reynolds. We've talked about him a lot. Had a very good matchup last week against Seattle Seahawks. They allowed Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell to go off. And then Josh Reynolds got to go off last week, had some touchdowns. Think about this. AMON-RA is dealing with an injury. Is he out? Is he in? We're going to have to see. Probably going to be in, but who knows? Who knows? But Josh Reynolds seeing almost a 20% target share, 152 air yards. Those are top-tier numbers. That's really good. He's in on 80% of the routes ran in his offense. He's getting volume. He's getting targets downfield. He's on the waiver wire in a lot of leagues. Should have been picked up. If you're looking for a wide receiver and he's there, he's in an offense that's moving the football. There's a lot of volume here. They're going to be in shootouts. They're going to be throwing it. And there's going to be some up and down weeks, but they're also going to be in some good matchups here where you can just put them in your lineup at flex, close your eyes, and hope for the best like you did last week, and you might get another turn-up game. Next, Dalton Schultz. We're going to the lower-level tight ends because the tight end position is weird from week to week. You look at the tight end position, the tight end 1 barely scores double-digit fantasy points. We're talking about 9, 10, 11 points from the guy who's the 10th best tight end for the week. One thing when we're picking tight ends, we want to gauge game scripts. We also want to look at the work rates. Dalton Schultz is leading the tight ends in like routes ran, 88 routes and an 80.7 route participation rate. He's also in the slot about half his snaps. He's getting opportunity, and like I said earlier, the Texans are running about 80 plays per game. Expect that to decrease in some matchups because naturally you cannot run that many plays in every single game. But he's got 11 targets, 12% target share, a lot of volume in the passing game. C.J. Stroud slinging it everywhere. A lot of these pass catchers are seeing targets. That's a good thing from Stroud. Dalton Schultz is a tight end that you can play the matchups with because he's getting workload. So if he's in a high-volume game, there's going to be an opportunity for him to score for you. That's a good thing to see. Next, Jerick McKinnon. Isaiah Pacheco is dealing with a hammy, could be out. This is a short-term thing. But the short-term thing last year turned into a long-term thing because he's using the passing game. Even though he's playing a limited portion of the snaps here, he's seeing 15 routes a game, 33% route participation rate. So he's still being used in the passing game. So there's going to be an instance where he's going to get more opportunities in the passing game going forward later in the year. So you need to watch for Jerick McKinnon like we did last year. When the routes per game start to inch up a little bit, that's when you need to strike on Jerick McKinnon. Next, Jonathan Mingo is having top-tier work rate right now because he's seeing 192 air yards, 77 routes already, 95% route participation rate, and a 21% target share. That is something you get from very good wide receivers in the league. He's a rookie. He's only got 2 games under his belt. This offense is a little weird because we're rolling with a rookie quarterback. Things are happening. We're getting rookie things going on. But still, you continue to get a 20+% target share, almost 100 air yards a game. Things are going to happen here in fantasy production. We get some plus matchups. He brings in a couple balls. He's going to have some blow-up games. Pay attention to Jonathan Mingo going forward. Next, Durham Smith. You need to pay attention to him. He has been hiding under the radar. I don't hear many people talking about him. I heard a guy in the comments actually in one of my videos. 74 routes ran. 93.7 route participation rate. He leads all tight ends in the NFL in route participation rate. Only one in the 90s even in the percentage portfolio. 10 targets, 13.7% target share, and plays over 50% of his snaps in the slot. We're also in a high-volume passing offense, and the fact that he can get 13% target share with Waddle and Tyreek Hill there, that's a good number to see. That's a good number to see, and this offense is very electric. They like to sling the rock, so he could have some up and down games, but you want those up games. You want those up games, and when you're running so many routes out there, getting so many opportunities, but in those good matchups, he's going to have an opportunity to give you some fantasy points. Next, CHUBA Hubbard. Sneaky running back if you need somebody on a cheap. Should be rostered in your leagues as he was a late-round flyer. But 28.1% opportunity share. So he's pushing starter level op share right now. 7 targets, 11.3% target share, 29 routes ran, 35% route participation rate. So he's getting some workload. He's getting some opportunity. 9.5 fantasy points per game, 36.5% snap share. So watch his work rate. This might increase going forward. Miles Sanders hasn't been super great. We might see CHUBA get more opportunity as the year unfolds. He's a good committee running back. Not the greatest. He's not going to be a bell cow. But if you need to play money ball at the running back position, CHUBA Hubbard might be a guy you can sneak fantasy production from. Last but not least, Justin Watson needs to be on your radar, especially for DFS, DraftKings, FanDuel, all that stuff. Because he is in an opportunity where he can really produce fantasy points in any given week. He's already seen 221 air yards, one of the top wide receivers in the league at that mark. 42 routes ran, 46.7 route participation rate, and we know they just throw wide receivers against the wall in every single game. 11.7% target share. What we like from Justin Watson, he's got 4.3 speed, he runs deep routes, he gets deep targets, opportunity to score huge fantasy points on any given week. Like, he's a lottery ticket for a big week. You put him in there, you close your eyes, you get nothing. You put him in there, you close your eyes, you get nothing. You put him in there, you close your eyes, catches a touchdown for 60 yards. Next thing you know, you got a double-digit fantasy performance. You can't trust him. You can't trust him because we've seen this throughout his career. But these workload metrics are starting to get a little bit more consistent compared to previous seasons. This is a hyper-athletic prospect right here. Good ball skills, deep ball guy. He's got the Will Fuller effect where he can give you that splash week and a lot of bust weeks. But you do need to know the trends on this guy because they're looking juicy. But those are 10 players that we're looking at right now. They are getting trendy. They got some things in their game right now that could go off for them in fantasy. Pay attention to them. Pick them up. Trade for them. Whatever you need to do. Get who you like. And I'll have more videos out for you to look at here soon. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. And I'll catch you on the next one.